nervous because I see the camera in my face. But if I stare at you, I'm really nervous, just go. You're doing great. Okay, half a day again. My name is Cabrini Cruz Palomo, and I'm so honored to be here with you guys today.
Hi, my name is Verna Zafrika Sala, and I am also very honored to be here today.
So before we dive into today's workshop, I just want to give like a quick rundown of what we'll be doing. I'll be reading from my upcoming children's book titled The Great Pescador. And then we'll do a little reflection and an activity and then another reflection. And before we dive into the workshop, I'd like to just share a little bit more about myself, just because we'll be getting to know one another on a deeper level. So yesterday we learned, but I'll just repeat it again. I was born and raised in Guam, and in what I proudly call the best and most beautiful village in Alahan. So I grew up down south, and it's so far from everything. So naturally, I would learn how to fish. My dad's a fisherman, my husband's a fisherman, my uncles are fishermen, my cousins are fishermen. My dad didn't have any sons, so his daughters became fishermen. And my Papa David was a great pescador. I lost him many years ago during a fishing accident where he drowned, but he passed away doing the one thing he loved most. And growing up around fishermen, I learned many lessons that guide me even now. One lesson that always stayed with me is taking only what you need. So even just last Sunday, my grandma was talking to us, and we were talking about fishing and the talaza, but she was saying, oh, when I was little, we used the talaza to catch fanihi. So they would hang up the talaza and the fanihi would fly into it. And she said at the time there were so many of them, and they would always, all the elders would always say, only take what you need and let the rest go. So those lessons really stick with me today, and I think it's also inherent in our Chamorro culture. You know, they always say, you know your Chamorro when there's one thing left on the plate. And I think that's just such a beautiful thing that we use to define ourselves with. People who don't take and take and take, and we always leave some for the future. So that brings me to today's workshop. We'll be focusing on wisdom passed down from our elders and how these teachings can guide our choices today, especially when it comes to sustainability and caring for our island's future. So now I'll be reading from the book. But just a little background on the book. This is the very first time I'm reading it to anyone outside of my publisher and then my amazing editor, Verna. It's a children's story, but I believe that the message is for everyone. And it's a story about a girl named Maria who goes fishing with her papa for the very first time. It reminds us that sustainability isn't only about preserving physical resources, but the intangible resources. So it's about remembering the teaching of those who came before us and letting those lessons guide our choices today. So as you listen to the story, I invite you to think about how Maria's story might connect to your own life and your family, your community, your friends, and the everyday choices that you make. And as we go on, just think about the words of your elders, your parents, or your mentors, or even kids, and how it informs your decisions. So, oh, sure. Good idea. All right. Okay, here we go. The Great Pescador. And it was illustrated by the very talented Veronica Cruz. Thanks. Maria gets excited when Papa David comes home from fishing. She and her siblings love guessing what fish he caught. It's tricky since they're still learning which fish are in season, but deep down they all hope for tarakitu, everyone's favorite to eat. At last, Papa David enters the back kitchen, and their eyes light up. Tarakitu, the kids cheer. They rush to Papa David to help with his catch. Together, they prepare lunch. Papa David shows them how to clean the fish, while Nana teaches them how to fry it. At the table, the kids fire questions all at once. Did you catch the tarakitu with a spear or a net? Maria's brother asked. Tarakitu are so pretty. Some even have baby blue spots. Why is that, Papa? Maria's sister chimes in. Nana holds up her fried fish and grins. What do you mean? Tarakitu are brown and crispy, she jokes. Hey, can we get back to my question, please? Maria's brother says, rolling his eyes. Maria measures the fish with her hands. I bet he used a spear. It's a pretty big fish, she answers. Papa David smiles. Wow, you're right, Maria. Sounds like you'd make a great pescador. Shall we find out? Papa David and Maria are up early before sunrise with their net and spears, but no fish are in sight. Trying to be clever, Maria makes big, loud splashes to wake the fish. Instead, the noise sends them darting under the rocks. Looks like you scared them off, Papa David laughs. Maria blushes and says, I thought they were just sleeping. Papa David pats her on the back. Sometimes being quiet works better. Maria nods, hoping to do better next time. As they stroll through the reef, Maria spots a little striped fish. Papa, get your net ready. A fish is coming. Papa David laughs and says, Aye, a day, Maria. That fish isn't in season. Do you remember which ones are? Maria's face turns red. I forgot. Manyahat, keep looking and you just might spot some, says Papa David. But I've only seen manyahat cooked. How do they even look in the water? Maria asks, sounding a bit defeated. Papa David explains. Manyahat swim in schools. Look for a dark cloud moving through the water. When you get closer, you'll see they're small, shiny, and silver. Maria tries to spot the fish before Papa David can. As they move farther out, Maria realizes Papa David sees movement in the water. What is it, Papa? Maria says, bummed she didn't spot something first. Papa David gathers the net in both hands and swings it back and forth. On the third swing, he throws the talata out. It spreads like an octopus, stretching its arms and splashes in the water. Papa David drags the talata onto shore, and Maria notices hundreds of silver fish sparkling in the net. She starts removing the manyahat from the talata. Slow down, Maria. Let me show you how, Papa David says. He places just enough manyahat into a bucket for their family, then gently releases the extras back into the ocean. Maria can't help but think about how she hasn't caught any fish or been much help to Papa David. Papa, I want to be like you. How can I become a good pescador? Maria, my girl, anyone could be a good pescador, but to be a great pescador, you must have wisdom, Papa David shares. Fishing isn't just about skill and cleverness. It's a way of life. We only take what we need. It sounds easy, but it can be tough to do. As they head back through the reef, Maria spots the biggest tarakitu she's ever seen. She doesn't even think Papa David sees it. This could be her chance to prove to Papa she's a good pescador. Maria reaches for her spear and aims for the fish. Suddenly, she remembers Papa David's words and the bucket full of delicious fish they already have. She lowers the spear. Watching Maria's thoughtful decision, Papa David rushes to hug her. "My girl, I'm so proud of you." "But Papa, I didn't catch anything," Maria says, confused. "Just because you could do something doesn't mean you have to. We have enough fish. We didn't need more," Papa David tells Maria. Knowing this is true wisdom. It makes you a great pescador. Maria feels good knowing she is a great pescador in Papa's eyes. They stand together and watch the fish swim away. Back from their trip, Maria slams the bucket of manahawk down on the floor to announce their success. The family gathers around and rejoices at their catch. Maria's mom asks Papa David, "So Dad, how did she do? Is Maria a good pescador now?" "No," Papa David says softly. Everyone is quiet and looks at Papa David in shock. "Maria is a great pescador," he announces. The whole family erupts in laughter and celebrates with freshly fried manahawk. The end.
All right, can we give another round of applause for Cabrini? Okay, so as Cabrini mentioned, I was the editor for her book, and what I really love about the story, right, is that it shows a lot of the things that get passed down, right, from one generation to the next. As someone who's never gone fishing ever, right? I was able to learn a lot from the story. So there's a lot of the hands-on practices of fishing, of taladza fishing, but also the deeper lesson, right? As Cabrini was saying about taking only what you need, right? Sustainability, right? Understanding one's environment and making sure that we're not harming, right? That we are one with our surroundings. And so the next thing that we want to do after reading the story is to think about some of these larger lessons from Maria and her Papa David. So in your tables, we kindly ask that you guys discuss and think about the following questions. Okay, what part of the story spoke to you the most? What lesson will you carry with you, like Maria carried her Papa's words? So for a couple of minutes, think about what are some of those lessons that your elders taught to you, right, that you still hold on to today. Okay, so we'll give you guys about 6 minutes. Thank you.
Your search for unbeatable internet speeds is over. Visit Docomo Pacific today and sign up for as low as $60 a month so you can experience our fast, reliable internet speeds for yourself. Docomo Pacific, better together.